to know. I got to know why it is that God said I can't fellowship with unbelievers. Why is God saying don't be unequally yoked? Why is God? I got to find out. But he says it for a reason. Because he knows that sometimes you may get into situations where they may veer you off away from you. They can plant seeds inside of you and have you confused about the word. Look at Eve. You're walking with God in the cool of the day. He's giving you his instructions all day and all night. And all of a sudden you wander by a serpent in a tree. And he says, did the Lord really say? And then you are like, I wonder. Give it here. That's how we are. Because we got to experience it. We got to find out for ourselves. The Bible says that a brother offended is harder to win in a strong city. The bars of contentions are strong. They are strong. People build up walls and defenses when you hurt them. And we don't understand. Sometimes we just let words just shoot out, but you just don't know. The Bible says the power of life and death is in the tongue, which means you're shooting out bullets. Sometimes you can be shooting out murderous bullets to people. And you can't take it back. How many people have been shot and that person can come to you and say, oh, hold up, I didn't mean that. Let me take that back out of you and then everything is going to come back the way it was. No, it's not. Sometimes we hurt people with words. We hurt people with the way we treat them. And the Bible says, you'll know they are my disciples by the love that they have to one another. And this world is just so full of hatred. Families killing one another. Husbands going out on a rampage, so they come in and say, well, you know what? My life is useless. Okay, and so is my entire family. So they make a decision for them. Mother is frustrated with life. Having a hard time because she goes to the welfare office and they deny her. Okay, so you deny me, I'll kill my kids. But that's how evil and wicked, because we're not walking in love. They asked, what is the greatest commandment? He said, love God with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength. Love your neighbors as you love yourself. If you walk in love, you can't commit adultery. You can't fornicate. You can't do anything that's against the Lord because you're walking in love. How can I steal from my brother because I love him? How can I hurt my fellow neighbor because I love him? How can I judge or misjudge because I love them? But we don't hardly have any love on this earth. This time, instead of using deceit to con, Jacob used wisdom. Because apparently, back when he was a kid, he remembered all the things that he was taught. That's why the Bible tells us, train up a child in the way he should go. That when he's older, he won't depart from it. Sometimes our children, they can really disappoint us. They can really discourage us because of the decisions that they make in life. And then I'm going to tell you, don't be a minister. Don't proclaim yourself to be a man or woman of God and your children do something out the way. The first thing people are going to say, now what kind of man or woman of God is that? Look at their children. My children have to go through their trials and tribulations just like me. My children have to learn God for themselves. I can't go and tell you, here, you're going to know God and you're going to know God like I know it right now. And that's just all to it. They're going to have to go through their experience, through their struggle themselves and learn God and learn to love him for themselves. Jacob sends messengers and gifts and greetings of peace. Esau came meeting him with 400 men. And at this time, Jacob was terrified. He's going to kill us. But Jacob did something that he didn't used to do before. Instead of getting ready to deceive, getting ready to manipulate, getting ready to con his way, he prayed to God for protection. He recalled all the promises that God has made. Because he said, the promises that you made from Abraham, Isaac, he called all those promises back to God. You remember that. God says, ask me of the things concerning my sons. Command ye me them. Sometimes when we get into our struggle, our hard times, we're ready to just give up. We're ready to con, we're ready to manipulate, we're ready to deceive, whatever we need to do to get out of it. But God says, if you ask me other things concerning my sons, ask me about my promises. Command them. God, did not you say it, that if I trust in you with all my heart and not lean unto my own understanding, in all my ways acknowledge you, you will direct my path. So I'm expecting you to direct my path.
Yeah. Yeah.
You promised me that you will supply all of my needs according to your riches and glory. When I get to the point where my cupboard is bad and my bank account looks like it's in the negative, all I'm going to say is, Lord, you said you will supply all of my. I said, don't make me rich, too rich that I may forget about you. But don't make me so poor that I have to rob and steal and go back to my old ways. So God, just keep me balanced out. But you said that you will supply my needs. So I just recall his promises back. You promised me that, God, if I be at peace with my enemies, if I do good to them, God, you said you will make them be at peace with me. You said it. I didn't say it. Your word said it. So I have a conversation with God. And I said, God, now you got to come through because I'm trusting in your word. And you said you watch over your word to perform it. You stand over your word and make sure it happens. See, we don't understand. When the Bible says the word will go out and not return to him void, you're not really understanding what God is saying. He's saying that when you speak his word, the word is coming back to him. And I guarantee you, before it gets back to him, he said it's going to do everything I seen it out to do. But it doesn't go out with faith. And at this time, Jacob has faith. And he believes and he prayed and God showed up. That's just like somebody, if you have been taught some things in your life, and you know, many of us have been taught life lessons. We've been taught it through the word. A lot of us were drugged to church when we were kids. I remember being drugged to church by my ear with my mom because me and my brother were playing in church. Drug in, drug over here, separated. But apparently something stuck with me. Something of the word I began when I got old enough. It did not depart from me. It came back. That's just like a person. When you go to class taking CPR. I don't know how many of us have taken CPR classes, but I know I was not paying attention. All I wanted was my certificate. I read over the things, answered the questions. They make you do some demonstrations, and then before you know it, you get your little certificate. I could not tell you the first thing after that, what the questions are. I could not answer a question or whatever, but I guarantee you, let a situation come up. Let it be a life or death situation with somebody, and they're laying down there, and they're at their last breath. I guarantee you it'll all come back to you. You'll remember something. But that's how it is when we get in God. Those words, no seeds that mama planted, that daddy planted, that the preacher planted long ago, that you read in the word while you was having those vacation Bible school classes that you didn't really want to go to. Those words were inside of you. And when you got in that struggle, when you got at that point in time where your face and your back was against the wall, you knew what to call on. You knew what to say. You remembered everything that God had promised you. Jacob called that place Canaan, meaning the face of God. Because now he understood and he knew that it's in God that he lives, he moves, and he has his very being. Isaiah 62, 1-4 says, then and there he was at one with God. He changed from con man to a new man. It was there that Jacob matured, that he grew in wisdom and stature, having favor with God and man. Now we read that again when Jesus talked about himself in the book of Luke. You remember when Jesus had wandered away from his family? He was 12 years old, and they were looking frantically for him. that you grow in wisdom and in stature, having favor with God and man. Wisdom gives you favor. I'm going to leave you with this story. There was a little boy that was playing outside, and he found the caterpillar. He picked it up, and he took it home to show it to his mother. Mama, can I keep it? Please, let me keep it. Let me keep it. I want to have it as a pet. Mama said, now you know this butterfly is going to go into a cocoon. This caterpillar is going to go into a cocoon. It's going to change it to a butterfly. Oh, that's all right. I know how to take care of it. So after a while, the cocoon began, the caterpillar got on a little stick that he had in the jar. And as he got on it, something strange began to happen. A hard shell came over the caterpillar. So the little boy was like, oh, no. So he watched it every day. His mom said, oh, that's supposed to happen. Don't worry about it. So he watched the caterpillar every day. And as he could, he can look and see on the inside, it was struggling to get out after some time. It was struggling. It was fighting. So the little boy said, Lord, I need to do what I can to help. This guy can't stand to see him struggling like this. Let me see what I can do to help him along. So he cracked it open. And what happened was the caterpillar never changed into a butterfly. It stayed in that halfway transformation state, never got to what it needed to be, never got its wings, never fully transformed. And then it was then that his mother told him, look, the caterpillar has to go through this. It has to do its process. It has to go through its struggle in the cocoon. Because while he's struggling, it's letting off all types of fluid that's going to help it grow. It's going to help the wings to come out. That's going to help him to break free from the cocoon. But you helping it, all you did was mess up his struggle. All you did was stop his growth. So what I'm saying today is, like I said earlier, parents, don't be discouraged when the children go to the left. Don't be discouraged when it doesn't seem like they're getting it. Don't be discouraged when you're standing, living out the word and trying to convince people and let people know how good God is and what God has done in your life. Because they have to go through their struggle. If you try to take them out any sooner, if you try to make them believe the way that you believe right away before they get to know God for themselves, until they get ready, finished with their trials and tribulations, going through their hard times and God bringing them out of it, they're not going to flourish into that beautiful human being that God has called them to be. We'll mess up their transformation. The butterfly spent the rest of his life crawling around with a swollen body and shriveled up wings. And we don't want to do that to people. All we want to do is tell them about the word and allow them to go through their struggles. Because I guarantee you one day they're going to come face to face with God. And it's going to be then and there that they're going to make the decision. I want to know who I am. I want to know who you are. And I'm not going to let you go till you bless me. I'm not going to let you go until you reveal to me who I am, who you are, what my purpose is. Yeah. And at that moment, God told Jacob, what's your name? He said, my name is Jacob. Not no more. From now, it's going to be called Israel, because you are the father to many nations. So just remember that your struggle will bring about a good transformation. That's the word for this morning.
A change has come over me. He changed my life. And now I'm free.
Might be someone that's desiring prayer. Somebody might be going through some struggles in your life and not quite